Don't mind if I die right now here on the mats. And everybody started to laugh. They know how old I am. If you knew the year that you were to pass away, would that change anything in the way you think about retirement or how you plan your bucket list or expenditures? My mother just told me a story about her girlfriend who didn't have enough money saved, and she was planning to wait to 70, which is the maximum Social Security age, to collect because she needed that money. But here was the wrinkle. She didn't make it to that age. She passed away at, I think, 67. If you knew that, would that change anything in the way you think about your bucket list, how you want to live the rest of your years, and how would you spend? You have a 25% chance of, if you're 65, to making it to 90, and a 10% chance to make it to 95. So as you can see, it drops considerably. And quite frankly, I don't want to live out to 95 because it's a terrible existence, in my opinion, because between 80 to 90, I truly believe, because I've seen this with my own parents, their mobility and the things that they can do really diminish. They don't travel at all anymore. They stay at home. They don't spend as much. In fact, they're trying to give all their money away to their grandchildren. It just, and they're just kind of waiting. And you know, for them, it's probably really tormenting because it's like, what do you wait? You're waiting for just one singular event because you know that's inevitable, and that is death. And if you knew, rather than waiting when you were going to pass away, I think that would change the profile of how you approach life in entirety. And that's really what I want to say to you, is that maybe what we need to do, instead of planning out to 90, 95, which is what, you know, statistically most healthy people will live to that, put a stake in at 85 or 80, and in your planning, whatever that planning software, for example, and see if that changes your mentality and also the probability of success. I will guarantee it. If you have a pretty decent, if you planned well enough, you're gonna make it, because the biggest problem, I think, between 80 and 90 is anticipating death, because you know death isn't very scary. You're not gonna know about it. It's the mode by which you will die and when and just waiting to die, and those two prospects are just, you know, those are things you don't want to think about. So in the meantime, that's the hard thing, is that we're trying to forecast to that particular event, but all the while worrying about that event while not living the best time of yours. In fact, you know, look at some of these YouTube videos about people who regretted what they did at age 80 that they didn't do in their 50s and 60s, and all of them pretty much say that they didn't live a full life. Like, they didn't travel, they didn't spend time with their family, they worked too much. And those must be legitimate concerns, because only at that point in life, when you can reflect back, do you have the hindsight of 50-50 and realize, okay, it was all just a big worry that wasn't really justified. And so that's really the crux of what I'm trying to say to you, is that I never thought about flipping it on its head, the whole retirement profile concept. Flipping it on its head changes your mentality about the whole thing, and because it does, I think it allows you more freedom. And that's what I think is the biggest thing. I don't think we should be planning out to 90, 95. In fact, my personal plan, when I use my software, I just plan out to 85. I think now I'm going to change it down to 83, 82. But regardless of that, let's say you get a positive number. I say at that point, that's the license and the permission to just live fully to the maximum. You know, for me, the other thing also is, you know, map out what it looks like. What does a life in your retirement look like? I can tell you what mine is. It's all about this channel. It's a life in the Philippines. It's a life like running around and tasting great foods and doing jiu-jitsu. And oh, and you know, here's a funny story, and I'll leave it here with you with this. You know, the other night, I don't know if you know, I'm an avid jiu-jitsu person. I love it, and I know. By the way, I'm 57. I highly urge you to do it too, because it's something you can do as an older person physically, and also exert enough physical activity. But you know, as you're older, it's harder to do things with younger people. They have more energy. They are stronger. So the other night, I was like really what they call gas. I didn't have enough oxygen going to my lungs. I was so tired. And I said to my opponent, man, I'm so tired. You know what? I don't mind if I die right now here on the mats. And everybody started to laugh. They know how old I am. Yeah, because what a way to go out, right? Doing the thing that you love. And I love jujitsu. It is dangerous in some manner because it is possible I could die. I mean, you really essentially it's a martial art. You're trying to kill each other. Yeah, I thought maybe that's not even a bad way to expire. Is that I was on the mats doing something I loved, and then sure enough passed away. And I think that's the way everybody should approach their life as they think about their retirement goals. Do something that you love and continue to do it. And eventually there will be a day where you actually are going to be, you know, passing away. But chances are, if you did it right, you'll be passing away in doing something that you have really loved to do. So what's your number? And what's your age, actually? Not your retirement age, the age when you're going to start living and stop worrying. For me, I think it's going to be 80, 82, or 83. But, write it in your planner. Put it in Edda, the app that I wrote, or just put it someplace where you kind of have it in the mental mind and just work towards that as a goal. But I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next